with their own hands souls destitute of help, that the land which thou esteems above all other might receive a worthy colony of God's children. Nevertheless, even those thou sparedest as men, and did sin, wast forerunners of thine host to destroy them by little and little. Not that thou wast unable to bring the ungodly under the hand of the righteous in battle, or to destroy them that once with cruel beasts, or with one rough word, but executing thy judgment upon them little and little, by little and little, thou gavest them a place of repentance, not being ignorant that they were a naughty generation, and that their malice was bred in them, and that their conjugation would never be changed. For it was a cursed seed from the beginning, neither didst thou, for fear of any man, give them pardon for those things wherein they sinned. For who shall say, what hast thou done? Or who shall withstand thy judgment? Or who shall accuse thee for the nations that perish, whom thou hast made? Or who shall come to stand against thee to be revenged for the unrighteous men? For neither is there any God but thou, that careth for all, to whom thou mightest show that thy judgment is not unright. So where's these other guys, man, that's gonna come on behalf of these other nations, man, that the Lord smit? It ain't none. But you know what? It is always a Jake that want to take up for these other nations, man, when they hate you and Yahawah, man. I'm gonna jump to the book of 1 Samuel, because it's accounts, man. It shows you, man, that the Lord ain't and there is no other power, man, but Yahawah, man. Nobody can match. No, it ain't no other. Matter of fact, all other spirits are in subjection unto him, man. Even Satan. Book of Job tell you that. But people think that, oh, the Satan is against Yahawah. Man, he works for him, man. He's an employee. We'll be in the book of 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel 4. I'll start at 3. This is an account when Israel was at war with the Philistines, man, another Hamite nation. Today is believed they will be the Sudanese people, those tall, very tall people that jump up and stretch their necks out. I'm gonna start at verse 3. This is 1 Samuel 4 and 3. And when the people were come to the camp, the elders of Israel said, wherefore hath the Lord smitten us today before the Philistines? So the Lord allowed the Philistines to take down Israel. Let us fetch the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of Shiloh unto us, that when it cometh among us, it may save us out of the hand of our enemy. Because that's where the Spirit of the Lord would dwell, man. And the Spirit of the Lord don't behold any wickedness, man. You die. That's why the children of Israel wanted Moses to go up and talk to the Lord, because they knew they wasn't right. They was afraid because of their iniquity. I'm gonna jump down to verse 5. And when the ark of the covenant of the Lord came into the camp, all Israel shouted with a great shout, so that the earth rang again. And when the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, what meaneth the noise of this great shout in the camp of the Hebrews? And they understood that the ark of the Lord was coming to the camp. And the Philistines were afraid, for they said, Yahawah is coming to the camp. And they said, woe unto us, for there hath not been such a thing heretofore. Woe unto us, who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty gods? These are the gods that smote the Egyptians with all the plagues in the wilderness. So these heathens thinking that it's many gods that the Hebrews deal with, but it's one power, man, Yahawah. But that's how famous that was, man. They heard about it. They heard about they cousins getting jacked up. Verse 9, be strong and quit yourselves like men. O ye Philistines, that ye be not servants unto the Hebrews as they have been to you. Quit yourselves like men and fight. And the Philistines fought, and Israel was smitten, and they fled every man into his tent. And there was a very great slaughter, for there fell of Israel 30,000 footmen. And the ark of Yahawah was taken. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were slain. And there ran a man of Benjamin out of the army, and came to Shiloh the same day with his clothes rent, and with earth upon his head. And when he came, lo, Eli sat, for his heart trembled for the ark of Yahawah. And when the man came into the city and told it, all the city cried out. And Eli heard the noise of the crying. He said, what meaneth the noise of this tumult? And the man came and hastily and told Eli. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were dim that he could not see. And the man said to Eli, I am he that came out of the army, and I fled today out of the army. And he said, what is there done, my son? And the messenger answered and said, Israel is fled before the Philistines, and there hath been also a great slaughter among the people. And thy two sons also, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of Yahawah is taken. And it came to pass, when he made mention of the ark of Yahawah, that he fell from off the seat backwards by the side of the gate, and his neck brake, and he died. For he was an old man and heavy, and he had judged Israel for 40 years. Now I'm gonna jump to the 5th chapter in 1 Samuel's. And I'll show you, man, how the Lord don't tolerate no type of idolatry. I'm gonna start at chapter 5, verse 1. And the Philistines took the ark of Yahawah and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of Yahawah, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. Now Dagon was this was a idol unto the Philistines, man. That was the idol that they erected and they worshiped. And when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. And they took Dagon and set him in his place again. And when they arose early on the morrow morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him. Therefore neither the priests of Dagon nor any that come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod unto this day. But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod, and he destroyed them and smote them with emerods, even Ashdod as the coast thereof. And emerods are hemorrhoids. They got hit with it. He sent the plague of hemorrhoids on them. And when the men of Ashdod saw it was so, they said, the ark of Yahawah of Israel shall not abide with us, for his hand is sore upon us and upon Dagon our God. And that's with the lowercase g. For they sent therefore and gathered all the lords of the Philistines unto them and said, what shall we do with the ark of Yahawah of Israel, the ark of the God of Israel? And they answered, let the ark of the God of Israel be carried about unto Gath. And they carried the ark of the God of Israel about thither. And it was so that after they had carried it about, the hand of the Lord was against the city with a very great destruction. And he smote the men of the city, both small and great, and they had emerods in their secret parts. Therefore they sent the ark of God to Ekron, and it came to pass as the ark of God, the ark of Yahawah came to Ekron, that the Ekronites cried out, saying, they have brought about the ark of Yahawah of Israel, of the God of Israel, to us to slay us and our people. So they sent and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines and said, send away the ark of the God of Israel and let it go again to his own place, that it slay us not and our people, for there was a deadly destruction throughout all the city. The hand of Yahawah was very heavy there, and the men that died not were smitten with emerods, and they cried, and the cry of the city went up to heaven. So the Lord don't tolerate no type of idolatry, man. The Lord can't be matched by none of these idols of these heathens, man. And these other nations know that. Israel just don't know it. But Israel gonna soon know, man, that the words that the prophets are singing unto them, man, are true, man. And those that don't want to get right, they're gonna be destroyed, man, on this side. And the Lord is only caring about his elect at this point in time. You know? The Lord tired of jacking Israel up and redeeming them, and they come back and they do it. The Lord just gonna do away with them, man. And he gonna save the elect. I'm gonna jump to Jeremiah 10. I started matter of fact, I just started from the top. This is Jeremiah chapter 10 and 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the custom of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. Now this is talking about the practice of Christmas, man. Verse 5. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither is it in them to do good. Because the people will worship this, man. They will worship these trees, man, and worship to Nimrod. Well, that's where that custom goes back to. And the people would be afraid of this erected idol. Verse 6, for as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. Who would not fear thee, O King of nations? For to thee doeth it appertain, for as much as among all the wise men of the nations and in all their kingdoms there is none likened unto thee. I'm going to jump down to verse 10. But the Lord, talking about Yahawah, is the true power. He is the living God and an everlasting King. At his wrath the earth shall tremble, and the nation shall not be able to abide his indignation. And that's his righteous anger. Verse 11, thus shall ye say unto them, the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth, even they shall perish from the earth and from under these heavens. He hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom, and hath stretched out the heavens by his discretion. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens. And he causeth a vapor to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightning with rain, and bringeth forth the winds out of his treasures. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity and the work of errors. In the time of their visitation they shall perish. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. The Lord bestowed all these the knowledge of math, science. All this was given to us, man. There is no other power, man, that gave a people the blueprint on how to conduct themselves, man. These other nations learned from us, copycatted us, and put their wicked twists on things. For example, in India, the men cover their hair. They grow their hair real long, cover their hair and wrap their hair up like saying it's disrespectful to their wife. But in Israel, the woman covers her head and wraps her hair unless she's with her husband. The man don't grow long hair down their back and all that, but the heathens copycat and do the opposite, man. I'm gonna end it off with Psalms 135. I'll start at verse 9. Matter of fact, I'll start at verse 8. Who smote the firstborn of Egypt, both of man and beast? Who sent tokens and wonders into the midst of thee, O Egypt, upon Pharaoh and upon all his servants? Who smote the great nations and slew mighty kings? Sihon, king of the Amorites, and Og king of Bashan, and all the kingdoms of Canaan, and gave their land for an heritage, and heritage unto Israel his people. Thy name, O Lord, endureth forever, and thy memorial, O Lord, throughout all generations. For the Lord will judge his people, and he will repent himself concerning his servants. The idols of the heathen are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Neither is there any breath in their mouths. They that make them are like unto them. So is every one that trusted in them. Bless the Lord, O house of Israel. Bless the Lord, O house of Aaron. Bless the Lord, O house of Levi. Ye that fear the Lord, bless the Lord. Blessed be the Lord out of Zion, which dwelleth at Jerusalem. Praise ye the Lord. And there is no other power that is that can do what Yahawah does, man. Hope this has been an edifying lesson. I'm gonna say Kwam Yasharallah and the Bible Ball. The Lord about to show his strength yet again, man, on a global scale. And you will know that Yahawah is the one true power, man, living power.